Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yes, we're back. I've had my break, and the magazine has had its break from last week. So we're back to doing the weekly reviews, which it was nice that I actually did have time to take that break because I was able to finish Chrono Trigger for a project that we're possibly going to be doing for Control Chaos at some point in the future, whatever that is. But yeah, look out for a Chrono Trigger video for Control Chaos. My initial impressions on it are, because this was my first time playing it, so these are my initial impressions of after beating it. Very good, more than very good. It deserves like the 10 out of 10. All of that good stuff. And yeah, it wasn't overly challenging, but it still wasn't walking the park either. It did get me a few times, so I had to be like, okay, how am I gonna get around this? What party members will I need for this particular point of the game? So yeah, it was nice that the game actually challenged me a bit, and it did feel rewarding when I finally saw the end screen and the final cutscene. So yeah, look forward to that video, and also it's given me a chance to get towards the ending of my latest book, because that's what I've been doing for the past like week and a bit, just wrapping up that story. Only got 3 chapters to go now, 3 chapters till the end before I start all the editing on that. So yeah, that's all I've been doing, and I've obviously been relaxing doing other things. So without further ado, let's dive right into the Yozakura chapter. Okay, so this will be chapter 237, titled Asa's Plan. Now, obviously with a title like that, you obviously expect it to be like, okay, we're getting the full front of Asa's Plan, and we do in this chapter. For the most part, we get like the general gist of what Asa's Plan truly is, but that's only for like the first half of the chapter. The second half focuses on Futaba, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So, if we start from the ending of the last chapter with Asa being kind of like, come at me, I shall now try and extract the strength from you, as we get internal monologue from Tayo about Momo's message of saying that, and when he starts to attack him back, move on to the next phase. We can narrow down what kind of bloomings he'll use first. First, focus entirely on defense, and I do like this chapter, because it gets into an idea of what's been missing from the series up until this point: extended family members. So we do actually get some of the bloomings of the extended family members of the Yozakuras. Like, it does prove that, yeah, Tayo, so yeah, it does prove that Mutsume's generation wasn't the only one with siblings, which begs the question of where all the other siblings, like, did Asa fully extract them? I guess he did. So anyway, I mean, this actually proves it, because he's using the bloomings of some of the previous family members, as we see the ball behind him, that, like at the end of the last chapter when he had a ball right behind him, that just starts becoming a spiker ball that just shoots out projectiles at Tayo. And Asa explains, like, oh, this is the Yozakura 6th generation's third son blooming, Pierce. It's a blooming that manipulates the skeletal structure. So quite a terrifying blooming then. So the Yozakura 6th generation, so that would be Mutsume's great uncle. Wait, so she's the 10th, so 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah, her great, her great uncle, so something like that. So something along those lines of that generation back. And it's also and Ree was the 9th one, so that would be Ree's great uncle, and their grandmother's great uncle. So their grandmother's great uncle, I assume. No. Yeah. That's how it would go. It'll be her great uncle. So so Mutsume's grandmother's great uncle. That's the blooming that Asa is using at this moment, Pierce. And like I said, terrifying ability. Like, it can manipulate the skeletal structure as Tayo goes to actually defend it. But as he's defending it, Asa just twirls his finger around, and as he does this, it literally slices off Tails' hand like butter. So kind of a similar ability to Koricho's Steel Spider here, just on a much more grander scale, because all Asa had to do was twirl it around and his arm was basically ripped off then. Even with Tails' True Spring blooming, it was ripped off. That's how scarily powerful this blooming actually is. Now you could just imagine Tails' reaction there, because he's using his arm and then all of a sudden, wait, what? My hand is off. Like, what the hell is going on here? And as he's trying to work this out, Asa just continues saying attacks at him, and he's just doing everything in his power to defend it. Before Asa goes on and says, like, oh, from the 4th generation, second daughter. So I guess Tsubumi's great granddaughter. So yeah, that would be because her daughter would be the it would be her great granddaughter. Because her daughter would be the 2nd generation, then it would be her granddaughter would be the 3rd generation, then her so it would be one of her great granddaughters, so one of Tsubumi's great granddaughters and Asa's great granddaughter. So yeah, he goes on to say, oh, this attack is from the 4th generation, 2nd daughter, Surveillance. Unlike a physical slice, it merely divides 2 parts of the body as if they were separate objects. It's an excellent means of incapacitating an enemy. So Pierce was not like what actually damaged Tails' hand. It was Surveillance. So really powerful and scary ability. It's a perfect defense and offense in this scenario, considering the fact that Asa could just be like, oh, you wanna attack me? Oh, I'll just pierce your leg and then just slice it off with Surveillance. That is a scary thought to think about, and it's coming so fast at you that just a blink and your body would just be like, there'll be a body part over there, there'll be a body part over here, there'll be a body part over there. Like, you wouldn't be able to probably do anything in this situation. Again, showing that Asa, even though there are cracks that are starting to get out with him, it's not taken away from the fact that he is ridiculously OP. It's kind of like the final boss in Chrono Trigger. The final boss, that took me so many times to get through that part, but eventually I did get it, so showing that, yeah, it was a powerful opponent, but it could be defeated. And anyone who's struggling on that final boss in Chrono Trigger, stick at it. You'll figure out a strategy and you will be able to defeat it. Just let you guys know that. And like I said, it did frustrate me, but I eventually got there and it did feel rewarding. I feel like that's what's going to happen here. Even though this is going to be a struggle to take down Asa, it's going to feel rewarding in the end when they actually do it. But continuing on, it goes on and says, you aren't the first to have resisted, of course. Other generations have come close to discovering me. The family leaving the government's control in the late 19th century was one act of such resistance. So again, Asa just working from the shadows, being like, oh, this generation of the family, oh, they're trying to leave. Oh, that's nice. I'm not going to let that happen. And he continues on and says, I took the First World War as an opportunity to assign a promising young man to them. I wonder who that promising young man was. It was Kawashita. It had to have been Kawashita. I mean, who else would it have been? Asa is just like the cause of all the mystery of everyone in this family. So it's no surprise in that, oh, he was the one behind Tampopo and therefore the one behind Momo, and now it goes to him. Like, it all comes back to Asa. But yeah, no surprise in that it must have been Kawashita that was the one, because Kawashita was around during the First World War. He was in cahoots with Tsubumi, so makes perfect sense that it would have been Asa that was the one. Like, oh yeah, I took this opportunity to assign a promising young man to them. So in other words, I encountered the family's prosperities. Despite the efforts with the births of the twins, Yozakura's powers began to wane, but I have a plan to counteract them. So basically, this is where we get into what Asa's true goal is for the Yozakura twins. He does want to destroy them, he lays that out, but he wants to do something even more, I feel, cruel. So now we're getting into Asa's plan here, and yeah, it is very similar to a certain other, like, awful father in a particular series. So he goes on to explain her heart, his brain, obviously referring to Hirofumi's heart and Alpha's brain. He'll crystallize them. He'll crystallize them in their Simone organs and implant them into a single body. Their other organs I'll select from the best donors, and if I can resurrect them as a single being, then they should be able to function biologically, as the Yozakura family said. Reminds me of certain someone. It's Shao Tucker. Like, as if I honestly predicted it, because I was saying like, oh, Asa is worse than Shao Tucker, like worse parent than worse father than Shao Tucker. This is what Shao Tucker would have. This is pretty much exactly what he did in Full Metal Alchemist, where he took two different beings, merged them together to create one single being, as sort of like, this is a perfect being, a perfectly functioning chimera with his daughter and their dog. Like, yeah, everyone remembers that. Everyone remembers that moment, and it's exactly the same here. Like, oh, I've got these two beings together. They were supposed to function as one head, but they split it off into two. No worries, I'll just take parts of them, smash them together, and then I've got one whole being. But at the same time, they're not the kids that were birthed from my descendants. Oh well. Too bad. I can't let that happening. I've got to keep the family line going, and these two are gonna stop it, and I can't let that happen. So yeah, Asa is doing a Shao Tucker here, essentially crystallizing Alpha and Hirofumi and just fusing them together to create a perfect being that can function as the family head. That's basically what his ultimate goal is here, just on a much more grander scale from what Shao Tucker was doing. And yeah, hearing this, Taio, you could just see like, oh, you bastard, you are not going to do that to my kids. Before Asa continues to go on and says, their decorations will shortly progress, of course, but that can be mitigated if I simply recycle the parts I harvest from previous generations. Okay, so yeah, he basically got all the other members of the family. It's just this one generation of the family, just like this generation is causing a few little problems for me, and it's driving me insane. So he goes on and continues to explain his plan of the Yozakura family as left in nature's hands will end, yes, but it will bloom anew under my careful cultivation, even bigger and brighter than before. And that is true. Like, if you don't do something like eventually the blood is gonna get so diluted that it's not gonna function properly. It's not gonna function as it was originally intended. Because if you continue to pour water into juice and you continue to do that over time, it's going to get diluted so that it's not fully juice anymore. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's like the blood of the Simone brothers getting so diluted that Asa is just like, yeah, eventually this is going to lead to us not having any power anymore, and therefore it's going to be a bother for me because I need this power to keep myself being alive. So he goes on and continues to say, their supernatural powers in quiet peace coexisted with society at large. It'll be the dawn of a new chapter in the Yozakura family history. So yeah, and if I get that, then I can basically rule the world using Simone blood from the Yozakura family. Isn't that great, Taio? And Taio, at this point, even though he's just like, even though you can see like in the eye, he was getting like really ticked off there. He's like, okay, gotta be calm here, because if I let my emotions get the better of me, he's gonna take advantage of that. So Taio goes on and says, if that was meant to shake me, then you wasted your breath. I'll protect my family from you. Nothing will change that. And Asa, giving off his creepy faces again, is just like, Admiral Taio, and that you are willing to even give up your life for that. So obviously, Asa is probably thinking like, oh, okay, maybe there's a future where I actually beat Taio. Like, he's trying to get into Taio's head psyche, because Taio knows that one of the premonitions that Alpha saw was just like, oh yeah, you are dead, Dad. And maybe that's what Taio is actually thinking right now, like, oh, he is trying to get under my skin, because he probably knows just as much as I do that, yeah, I'm probably destined to die in battle with him, but no, I'm not going to let that get to me. So it goes on to say, the blood of two different organs runs through your body. The first of the heads, Simone herself, and that of the 10th head, Mutsumi. So yeah, Tayo obviously has the blood of Subumi and the blood of Mutsumi just running through him. Their hearts are pure samurai crystallized. They create energy with eye-opening efficiency. Your body took their blood and collected it in your heart and used your hardening to solidify into a crystal. Effectively, it creates an artificial family's head's heart. So yeah, maybe that's also part of the harvest for Tayo. Like, Asa is going to take the heart of Tayo and be like, ah, yes, my plan is going so swimmingly right now. But this also raises the question, since Asa is basically saying, especially in the next section, thus with the power nearly that of a natural family head, you can make use of a typical family abilities, which makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. But does this mean that even Tayo now could technically, since he has what Asa describes as nearly that of a natural family head, could he technically pass his blood on to somebody else to give them the power for blooming? I mean, kind of try at some point, but yeah, they continue on by saying, but thanks to that little trick, you maintained it for over 10 minutes. So the obviously the trick of taking their blood and collecting it in his heart to sort of like balance. Get a natural balance in his body so that he can maintain his true spring bloom for longer than the 3 minutes, and now it's over 10 minutes, and he's patiently awaited his chance to shoot Asa with the bullet, which Asa knows that is on his person, and he expects that's the gist of his and Momo's plan. Oh, it's risky, even if he succeeds in making a family head's heart, the rest of his body cannot tolerate it not tolerate that power for long. So maybe that's what's going to do Tayo in, like, the maintaining of a natural family's head. It's just going to be so overwhelming for his body that it's going to make him collapse. So I guess it could technically mean that the prophecy did come true, but at the same time it did not come true. But we'll just have to wait and see on that front as they continue on with the speech of saying, you already have Yozakura leaf veins signaling the stress your body is under. When those veins wrap around your entire body, you will die. So yeah, basically his own abilities are what's doing Tayo in. So I guess it's not going to be Asa's ability, it's going to be Tayo that eventually does him in. But at the same time, they'll get around this unless the author is going down that route of Tayo being destined to die. You just never know. But Tayo continues on and says, if that's what's what lets me protect everyone, then it's a price I'm gladly paying. And you know Tayo would do that. Even if the audience doesn't want that to happen, you know Tayo would sacrifice himself for his family, for the family that brought him in from the pits of despair. Even Koricho, despite all the shit that Koricho has put him through, Tayo still views him as family and still views him as like, hey, this is a role model that everyone looks up to. So despite the crap he's put me through, I'm gonna protect him if it means he can protect the family that I leave behind. And he goes on and says, yeah, even though this may kill me, I'm not going down easy and I'm not going down without a fight. If something happens to me, everyone would grieve, and I'd like to be around to watch my kids graduate and grow up and become fine adults. So besides, while I'm not all that much myself, I'm lucky enough to be blessed with a very reliable family, and with us together we will stop you, Asa. So yeah, that's the whole part with Asa and Tayo. So like I said, yeah, even though we got Asa's plan, the Tayo does make sense. I really wish it would just focus just on the battle with Tayo and Asa rather than moving on to focusing on Futaba, because I feel like all the stuff with Futaba could have been saved for chapter 238, considering how easy that this goes well for Futaba, even though we know that this is not going to be that easy. So we do cut over to Futaba, who's trying to get the information from the fights with with Keigo and Shinzo, and she says, oh, so let me get this straight, you two. So we got to beat the tar out of Asa's 4 children, and that'll let us defeat him, because they're connected to his heart, and we have Naro going, oh no, that's not quite it, Futaba. And she's going, oh, so do I have to open a can of whoop-ass on them? So I do like that kind of whoop-ass on them, even though ass isn't there. I really think it should have been there. Maybe it just got lost in translation. I don't know. But yeah, basically she's going like, also just need to do that, and then it's easy to take down. I was like, no, that's not how it is, Fruitspa. Like, also I've just got to beat them up, and then that's it. And we have them going on being like, really, Fruitspa, you're getting so old. Your brain's going, and this actually ticks off Fruitspa because she's like, yeah, I'm not really that old, so we're gonna have a talk later, Keigo, about what you've just said then. But anyway, they go on to say somewhere around their hearts is an asa. What is an asa that can control them essentially. So you gotta rip that out, and then with that we can deal with asa. And Fruitspa at that point is just like, okay, I think I get it. I think I understand what you guys are saying here, but that's still a creepy ability if you think about it. Like, and it is creepy. Like, just you attack someone and then an eyeball just appears in their chest, and it's just like somebody else is taking control of them. Just seeing an eyeball that size, like the size of a football, not a soccer ball, a football. We're getting that right. It's not soccer, it's football. You kick the ball with your foot. Yeah, that's just a little tiny rant I have there. Like, why do they call it soccer, not football? And why is it called football when they primarily use their hands? But yeah, besides the point, the size of a football, an higher size football in your chest, that is a scary ability if you really think about it. But anyway, they go on to say like, oh, me and I managed to pull it off. Keigo managed to pull his off, so we can do it, and we did it using our true spring blooming. So naturally, you're gonna have to use yours, Fruitspa. But Fruitspa is just like, really? Do I really have to do it? I mean, I could just take it out without using my true spring blooming, which is hinted at. Fruitspa is going to use her true spring blooming. It would just be weird if Keigo and Shinso use their true spring bloomings, but not Fruitspa. That would just be weird. So as Fruitspa is getting all of this message, we see that Nia's just going after her, just using explosion, while Fruitspa is just naturally dodging them because she's that quick. And she's saying like, oh, how long did your battles take and everything? And they were like, oh, about 3 minutes. And just did I take that long too? And Fruitspa's just like, okay, basically all we need to do is pull out the bad bits without harming the whole, right? And if that's the case, then who needs to use their true spring blooming to do that? Well, apparently Keigo and Shinso had to do that, and everyone's going to have to use their true spring bloomings here. It's only natural. Like I said, 2 of the Yozakura siblings have used their true spring bloomings. Everyone's going to use it at this point. But yeah, Fruitspa just proving how much of a badass she is by literally stopping Ni in her tracks and wrapping her up with her abilities. Even with like the giant cats just trying to claw at Fruitspa, she is able to just wrap it up in string ball energy, whatever it is, and basically neutralize her even without having to go into a true spring blooming. But like I said, it's not over yet. We still have to find out about if Lord Giga or if Shuru is there and part of Asa's little group. So maybe that's why they're saving that for Fruitspa's true spring blooming. They would like Shuru especially would have has a better relationship than Ni does with Fruitspa. So it's only natural that Fruitspa would use her true spring blooming on Shura because of their relationship. Similar to how I feel like Koichiro is going to use his true spring blooming on Kai when we get back to their fight. But yeah, Fruitspa just neutralizes Ni and says, there's definitely a lump of bad chi inside of you, and you've got to thank Hifumi when you see her, because her decision literally saved your life here. As Fruitspa just uses what was it called? The martial art. Like, I can't remember like what martial arts. Akiya. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Like Akiya martial arts, to just thrust the eyeball out of Ni and basically destroy it, and literally in 10 seconds. So she was able to get Ni, wrap her up, negate her abilities, and destroy the eyeball within 10 seconds, and that's where the chapter ends. So, proving that Fruitspa is a badass, and proving why she's the best character in the series still. she's still my favourite character, and I'm looking forward to seeing what her true spring blooming is. If true spring blooming is magnesium, basically it's negate attack. That's essentially what her blooming is. So I'm wondering like what her true spring blooming is. Maybe magic cylinder, like when something comes at them, it fires right back. She can fire it right back at the opponent with twice as much damage, something like that, or counters, something like that. I don't know. So like I said, I feel like Shura. I believe that's how you pronounce the name of her friend that may or may not have feelings for Futaba. Who knows? But yeah, I feel like that would be a much more better opponent for Futaba to use a True Spring Blooming on than Nii, because Nii has much more of a connection with Hifumi than she does with Futaba. I mean, she has met Futaba before and has interacted with her, but I feel like Shura would be much more appropriate. Same thing with Hulang for Keigo, Alex slash Kazu for Shinzo, and Lord Giga for Shion. I feel like Lord Giga is for Shion. And Dr. Mose for Nanano, and like I said, Kai with Kuricha. I feel like Shura with Futaba, that's going to be the true spring blooming opponent that Futaba is going to use it on. But anyway, guys, that was the chapter. Pretty good chapter. I mean, the last half went by really quick because it was just basically like, oh, I just need to neutralize Nii and then we're good to go. And Futaba does that. But the main bulk of it was like finding out what Asa's plan is and whether or not the prophecy that Alpha predicted for Tile will come true. That just has to remain to be seen. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.